Hello, Peter. It's now top of the hour, and I can confirm we are streaming live on YouTube. Do we have the green light to begin?
Hi, Diana. I think we could start or possibly give 2 minutes to participants who are joining. You can see the numbers. So maybe 2 minutes, then we could start.
Okay, that's fine. We'll give the participants an additional 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Diana Isokata, and I work for IFC, and I will be your moderator for today's session. I will request that before we kick off the session, we could probably go over some ground rules. And first of all is I will request all participants to kindly turn off your cameras. Those of us joining via WebEx, we will only have the presenters switching on their cameras. And this is to make sure that we use minimum bandwidth consumption. The camera icon is the one on the bottom of your screen, the second icon from the left. Kindly click on that to switch off your camera. Secondly, I will request.
Diana, we lost you. I think there was an interruption in the connection. Maybe just go back a few steps.
Okay. Okay, allow me to begin by welcoming all the participants and thank you for joining us today. Our webinar is accessing financing for importers and clearing and forwarding agents. And before we begin the session, I will just go through over some housekeeping rules. First of which is to request our participants joining us on WebEx to switch off your cameras. The camera icon on WebEx is the second icon at the bottom of your screen, second icon from the left at the bottom of your screen. And then do also switch off your microphones. Sarah, am I clear?
Yes, we can
Diana,
hear you,
we can
Diana.
hear you.
Proceed.
Okay, thank you. Secondly is to request that we also switch off our microphones to ensure that we have minimal interruption during the session. The microphone icon is the first icon at the bottom of the screen, the first icon at the left, on the left at the bottom of your screen. We will be using the chat box to share feedback and pose questions to the panel. We will have a Q&A session where the panel will get to answer the questions raised during the session. In case we have participants experiencing challenges with audio on WebEx, kindly click on the audio option and then go to audio connection, then select call using my computer. Alternatively, you could join us through YouTube, and I'll post the link on the chat box. And finally, today's webinar will be delivered via WebEx and YouTube, and the session will be recorded. I will now hand over to Dorcas Mogambi to kick us off. Over to you, Dorcas.
Thank you so very much, Diana, for those opening remarks, and a big welcome to everybody today. And before we get started, I would like us to start with a word of prayer, and I'll request Peter Ndumia to lead us with a word of prayer. Peter, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Thank you, Dorcas. Let's bow for a word of prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, this morning we want to thank you. We want to appreciate your goodness and your mercies. Thank you for this day that, Lord, we are going to have a session with our customers in regards to importation businesses and clearing and forwarding. As we interact and as we continue to learn today, we pray for your insights. We pray that you guide us. We even pray that, Lord, you continue to bless the businesses of our customers so that, Lord, even with the pandemic season, that they're going to thrive and they're going to prosper in whatever they do. As we start this meeting, we pray that you'll go ahead of us in all the things that we do. And Lord, may we come out better than the way we came. In Jesus' name, we do pray and give thanks.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. A good morning once again, team. We are excited to have this webinar to just, as Cooperative Bank, pass a message of training and even trying to empower our customers. We'd want to really appreciate the people who have joined us. This is going to be a great and exciting discussion or conversation to support our customers, especially in this, unprecedented time, where we find ourselves in a situation where a lot of things are changing. And I mean, there's a lot of dynamic in everything that we're doing. And as Cooperative Bank, of course, we are committed to support. And that is why we have brought on board our very good partners from IFC to come and support and even speak to us and empower us, especially in matters in matters of financing your importations and even financing your import duty. So with us today, we have IFC, who will be facilitating us and even taking us through some of the things that, we fear or we are not even sure about. We have Sarah and of course, Diana, who is moderating us this morning. We also have a couple of Cooperative Bank team that is both in trade finance and in your relationship managers to support and even to take on some of the things that or give the commitment on the things that the bank is doing to ensure that you're back on foot and you start thriving. So we really want to thank each one and everybody. And as we get started, I want to give it to Sarah Mbinji, who is our consultant for today, to take us through the program. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dorcas, for that introduction. And a very good morning to not only Dorcas, the whole Cooperative Bank team. A very good morning to you. A good morning to all IFC, the IFC team, which I'll be introducing shortly. And a very good morning to all the customers who are joining us. This is one of the excitements of my life, you know, just coming on board Cooperative Bank. We have been doing several sessions. If I'm not wrong, this should be our 10th or 11th session. And I want to recognize Cooperative Bank and the efforts that you're making in putting together sector-specific kind of groupings such as this one, so that we can discuss what challenges we are facing in our sector and how we can work together, how we can strengthen each other. So thank you very much, and welcome on board. Before I go too far, it's important that I recognize the IFC team. Just as Dorcas said, this is this particular webinar and the others that we have been conducting are as a result of a partnership between Cooperative Bank and IFC. Maybe for those of you who may not have heard of IFC, IFC is the International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group. The mandate of IFC is to strengthen the private sector, organizations and businesses just like yours. And I'm not alone today. I am joined with our team leader, Stella Masinde, and it's always a joy to have you on board. And I'm going to give you an opportunity in the next 1 or 2 minutes just to say hi to our participants. Stella, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dorcas. Good morning, all participants, and welcome to the session. We hope you will enjoy it and get as much value out of it as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stella. I feel very confident when I know that you are leading us, just as you always do. Again, I am being supported by Diana, and Diana is in charge of the technical aspects of this webinar, just making sure that if you have any challenges, just let her know, and she will be able to sort you out as we go along. And so my name is Sarah Mbinji. I'm not new to the Cooperative Bank family. We have been walking this journey actually from the beginning of the year when COVID visited us and we didn't know how to navigate, but we have been learning the ropes, and we're moving forward. So I know we're having challenges, and really we are here to encourage you and to strengthen you and to look for different ways of doing business. I am an IFC certified instructional designer, and what that simply means is that I develop training content, like the content that we are going to be going through. And over and above that, I'm also a certified trainer with IFC, a business mentor. Basically what I just want to talk about is that I'm a business person just like you, and I've been in business for the last 20 years as an SME. So panda shuka zote za biashara tunazijua, and we are confident to have this, I'm confident to have this engagement with you. 14 years of my life dedicated at strengthening, customers, SME customers, just like you. So I wouldn't want to say much more about the ground rules, because Diana said, she said something about muting the microphones, and I want to thank you so much for your cooperation, because I can't hear a noise in the background. But I want to encourage us, let's participate. I know you're coming in with there's something that brought you on board. Maybe you're struggling with something, you're trying, just trying to navigate through this very unfamiliar landscape. Just as Dorcas said, there are a lot of changes taking place in the business environment day and night. And so we'd really like to hear from you. What challenges are you facing, so that we can see how to assist each other as we walk this road? I'm going to try and make this session very open, participatory, because it's important that we hear from you. And again, because this, we're just trying to go through the challenge of, social distancing and so on. So it's very critical that we communicate, that we meet at the chat box. I'll be asking you some questions, some feedback. Please feel free to go to the chat box and relay that information to us. This is a safe space, and we are going to respect each and every opinion that comes through. So let me start by asking you, what challenges are you facing as an importer, as a clearing and forwarding agent? What are you grappling with? What struggles do you have? What are your pain points? I would like to invite you, kindly go to the chat box and please talk to us. Maybe let me go to Diana. Diana, can you kindly, just in case we have some participants joining us this morning who are not sure exactly where to find the chat box, Diana, can I kindly ask you to take them to the chat box? Then we can continue with the conversation. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. And I've typed the questions that you've posed to the participants in the chat box. And for those joining via WebEx, the chat box is the third icon on the right of your screen at the bottom of the page. So kindly use that to share your feedback. What challenges are you facing as a clearing agent or an importer in the course of your business? We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana. And thank you also our YouTube participants. So I see Edwin. Edwin says, you're from FutureLink Technologies. Welcome on board. My question to you is, what challenges are you currently facing? What problems would you like fixed? Please go to the chat box and kindly talk to us. Okay, George, I see that you have sent me a message privately. Maybe let me just read it out. Maybe perhaps you meant to send it. For participants who may be wanting to say something, please make sure that it is addressed to everyone so that we can all see. Myself, George says, I'm a new businessman. I import and sell cars. My network has really gone down, and I get a lot of referrals. My biggest challenge is capital. I get customers, but I don't have capital to bring a car since they need bank finance to get the car. Thank you so much, George, for that feedback. And we hear you. In the room, Cooperative Bank is here, and we're listening to you with a big ear, and we have some proposals of some solutions that we want to offer to you. Thank you so much, George. In addition to what George is saying, these are some of the challenges that cut across, and they're affecting us in one way or another.
Sarah, probably I could read some
Yes.
feedback coming from YouTube.
Yes, sure.
And we have Flora, who says that my biggest challenge as an importer and in supply business at large is lack of finances. Getting a loan from, I guess they meant to write bank, using my assets has been so difficult. And then we also have a comment from Julius Kabari, and he says, what I want to hear is financing without mandatory collateral. Thank you. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you so much for Diana for keeping track of our YouTube guests, and we're very keen to hear what are the challenges that we are facing so that we can help you to deal with them. That's what this webinar is all about. Thank you so much, Flora, for that feedback. Lack of finances, or maybe even perhaps lack of the knowledge of the different products that are available to help us as importers. Thank you, Flora, for that. And then Julius says, look, I would like to get finances, but vikwazo ni mingi sana. There's so many mandatory requirements. Is there a way that I can maybe get to know more, or is there a way that they could be relaxed, or something like that? So these are the questions that this webinar is all about. We want to focus on giving you solutions based on what is challenging you. So we have seen a lot of shifts in demand and supply during 2020, which is what we're calling the COVID, the pandemic period. And at one point, our borders were completely shut. But then the borders have been opening up and so on. And so, of course, that has brought about all these shifts in demand and supply. And as a result, the prices have had to go up. And for us as business people, of course, when the cost of business goes up, we try to pass on that cost as much as possible to a customer somewhere. But remember, that customer is also distressed. They are also struggling with their financial issues as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So these are some of the challenges that we're facing, and we're trying to see how can we go around that. Of course, there are also changes in suppliers, depending on whether you're an importer, especially for those of us who are importers. If one route is blocked, is it possible that I can identify another supplier who can give me quality products or something similar to what I was supplying before? That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it, whenever we think about imports, bringing in products or certain goods, we must be driven by the customer's need. So the question we are asking ourselves, and the question I would ask you as importers, are we aware of the changing needs of the customers out there? Because whatever we bring, we have to be able to, we must be confident that we'll be able to sell and get a return and get the cash flowing, because cash flow is what we need, especially during this challenging times of the COVID-19. And so you need to listen to your customers. What do the customers want? And that's what you should supply. Now, the challenge here is that as you identify or you go through the process of identifying different suppliers, there's also a trust kind of relationship that you need to build. Or maybe you had built a trust relationship with a previous supplier who perhaps is not supplying you as effectively. So these are some of the challenges we're looking at. Stockouts, trying to restock. I have been looking around, going into some of these shops, hardwares, electronics, and so on. And there's that challenge because we are told, you know what, we are not able, we are still waiting. We are told that our stock is in the high seas and so on. It's taking a bit longer. There are challenges of document handling. I know that you people are involved, you do a lot of logistics. Your business is so much about logistics, trying to manage transporters, the goods and so on. And now with COVID, in fact, earlier on, there were restrictions around travel. Of course, that has relaxed, and that's good for our businesses. The challenges of Forex, increased cost of goods. There's a lot of competition. There are cash flow management problems. And as you have heard from our friends who have said, access to finance is a big thing. And that's what we want to talk about, that credit management and basically how can we be assisted so that we continue in business, so that we survive, and not only survive, thrive, and make our businesses profitable. So these are some of the things that we want to focus on. And there's so much that I can say, but this webinar is going to be a two-part presentation. I'll start off by giving you the big picture of, just to assist you, some business tips of how we can navigate through this COVID period. And I just want to share with you three tips. I say less is more, so that I can allow Cooperative Bank team, I know they are very ready to tell you more about the kind of products that would interest you. But again, it's driven by your needs. So we'll have this conversation as we go along. And again, your needs are very unique. They're unique to your business, unique to your needs and your demands. And I think Cooperative Bank is saying, look, come, let's talk. Let's understand what your need is and we'll give you a solution. I will leave that to them. I want to just focus on some business management tips that I can give you as a value addition because you came on board. Number one, I'll talk about the need for us to shift our perspectives, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. And perhaps you're wondering, what's all that about? I'll get to that in the next 1 minute or so. Number two, I think it's important for us to focus on our stakeholders. Who are these stakeholders? And we know who they are. But my question to you is, perhaps in this changing, this dynamic environment, as Dorcas told us, could there be some additional requirements, maybe even statutory requirements, and are you aware of them? Maybe as we look for different sources of our cargo and so on, are we aware of those requirements? Because for you, as a shipper or as a clearing and agent, clearing and forwarding agent, we customers rely on you to advise us. So there's also some advisory service that you give to us. So we'll focus on what are the changing needs of your customers and how can you, stakeholders, and how can you support them? And then lastly, I'll talk one or two things about the need for us to embrace digital transformation. Why? Because that's the way of the future. Tip number one, adjust your perspective or adjust your way of doing things, or maybe adjust your business plan. So I have put out a picture here and I want to ask this question. What do you see? Please go to the chat box and please tell me, what do you see? And I'll be taking in some responses. And as I wait for your responses, Diana, I'll hand over back to you, and perhaps you can read one or two comments that came in through the chat box as we give our participants an opportunity to say what they see. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. And I will start with feedback that we have on WebEx. So I'll start with Naftali, and Naftali says he's a new importer. He's got market opportunities, but he doesn't have enough capital to import in bulk. And then Jackton Omondi also says that big players in the industry have set 60 to 90-day credit period as a standard operating procedure. We small and mid-sized SMEs can't manage this without reliable cash flow. How can the bank assist in this? And then I will quickly go over to YouTube, where the biggest challenge as we are receiving from the participants on YouTube is the biggest challenge as an importer and in supply business at large is lack of finances, getting a loan from the bank, using my assets. I think I'd already read that. We have Jackton Omondi again on YouTube saying, as a clearing and forwarding agent, our biggest challenge is financing importers' third-party charges and waiting for 60-day credit period. And then we also have feedback on MCOP Cash from Flora, where they say when they go to access unsecured loan, it's too little compared to the money they require to pay their suppliers before they can ship the goods. And then Christine Amondi also speaks to troubled cash flow since the pandemic started. Godfrey Odhiambo, financing is an issue. And then we have a question from Irene Odhiambo, which of course the Corp Bank team will handle during the Q&A session, where she's asking, do you link with KRA Customs to facilitate clearing and payment of taxes? And then, yeah, we have quite a bit of engagement coming from YouTube. I think most of our participants are logged on via YouTube. And then we also have questions on whether LPO financing option is available. And I think some of these questions would be answered during the second part of the presentation when we have Corp Bank coming in to give the options available to assist bridge the financing gap. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To your question,
Yes.
what do you see? So the comments coming in are a glass half full, glass of water, glass with half full glass of water, half empty. And then that's YouTube. Coming back to WebEx, halfway glass of water and half glass of water with ice cubes. Over to you, Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diana, and thank you, our participants. Thank you for those conversations. Naphtali, I hear you. Jackson, I hear you. Flora, we hear you. And we are here to provide those solutions for you, trust me. And it's very interesting. When you look at that picture, what you see. Some people say, I see a glass half full. Others say, I see a glass half empty. Naphtali says, I see a glass of water with ice cubes and so on. And all those opinions are valid because it's all about what you see. And it's so important for you to see the right thing or to get the right perspective in what you see, because perspective is all about how you see, how you understand, how you interpret a situation and what you're going to do about it. Diana, I think I heard you saying that somebody saying something like trying to add on to, when you look at that glass, you can see it is half full or it is half empty. But I think the challenge here for all of us is to try and see how we can fill that glass. I see a glass half filled. Thank you so much, Prudence. And this is exactly what we want to talk about. Why are we even talking about a glass with water and whether it's half full and full or half empty and so on? Because we are going through the COVID-19 pandemic. And in this pandemic, we have, it has disrupted. The pandemic has actually, it's a fact, it has disrupted the way we have been doing business. And now we are talking about the need to adjust, to adapt, and to go around this crisis. So it's all about trying to see how you can fill the glass. Wacha kusema, oh, business has been, very difficult. And so the $1 million question is, what are you going to do about it? And that's what I think is really important for all of us to focus on. I want to draw your attention to the words of Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee is a martial arts artist. And I'm sure you have heard about him, of course, depending on how old you are. And he gives us some insights or some wisdom about changing times. And because the environment is changing so much, because of COVID has changed, it continues to change, I think we can get some insights from this. He says that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked. The stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or the willow does what? It survives by bending with the wind. What does that statement mean to you? Please go to the chat box and tell me. What does that mean to you? The stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or the willow survives by bending with the wind. What comes to your mind? Please go to the chat box and let me know. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. We have Jackson Omondi, who's very fast in responding. He says adaptability. We have Steve, not adaptable. We have George Serem saying it means we need to be flexible with changing situations. And I see Stephen Gikungu on YouTube says flexibility.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much, our participants, for continuing to engage us in this conversation. What are we seeing here? It is important for us, if we are going to survive and also thrive going forward, we need to be adaptable. We need to learn how to bend in the direction of the wind. What is that direction of the wind? What your customer wants, and what are some of the things that you can do to enhance the way you do business? Prudence, I see you. Resilience, being adaptable, adjusting, and so on. And that's what our focus is on. And I just want to bring your attention to these words here. The facts, yesterday's facts, yesterday's facts are not tomorrow's reality. And I know you've been in business. You've been in business for a long time, and you have really succeeded, in getting yourself to where you are today. But the fact is that what we were doing before, because of the changing environment, the COVID and so on, may not necessarily guarantee your success tomorrow. And so it's so important that we embrace the words of Bruce Lee and we realize that what got us where we are now may not necessarily get us into the future. And that's exactly why we are having this conversation and why I want to share these tips with you. I have left for you a blank box, and the question for you is to figure out what can you do to remain profitable. Even if you went to Cooperative Bank right now and they're here, they're going to give you a wide range of products. The issue of profitability, you can never escape it as a business person. And so we want to share with you tips of how to be profitable and how to make adjustments in your business. If you need to scale down, you need to look at what the priorities are, the costs and so on. Look at it in totality. And also, not only that, you see, looking at the cost is only just one side of it. There's also the income. And I'll be sharing with you some tips of how you can expand your sources of revenue. Tip number 2, it's very important for us as importers and clearing and forwarding agents to understand the different needs of our stakeholders. And who is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is anybody who interfaces or interacts with a business, with your business in one way or another. So for example, that's you in the business, there in the center, and there are people who surround you because nobody operates in a vacuum. There are those who have invested in the business, yourself being number 1. I call you investor number 001. And as you continue and as you have continued to run your business, and as because of the nature of your business, because of the amount of monies that we handle in Forex and also in Kenya shillings, we can't survive. It's impossible for you to survive without a helping hand. And this is where Cooperative Bank comes in. So that is the lender. That is a person who gives you financial solutions. In fact, I always say your banker is your best friend. But now, if I was to ask you, what do you think their expectations are? You see, we're trying to understand what are the changing needs of our stakeholders. So if I asked you, what do you think is at the top of the mind of Cooperative Bank as far as your account is concerned, what would your answer be? It's important that we understand for each of these different categories, management, what are the concerns of management? What are, the staff and the different anxieties that we're having right now, the customers, whether that customer is a cargo owner, individual shippers, and so on, in terms of suppliers, everybody in that value chain, what exactly are the expectations? Are you aware? Regulatory authorities, KRA, KPA, Kenya Airports Authority, KEBS, and so on, the local community. So it's really important, especially in this time of crisis, that you figure out what is at the top of their mind. And in your communications, I encourage you to oil those communications and make them effective, because that's what is critical for your survival, and especially during a time of crisis. We say communication is good, but especially during a time of crisis, it is very critical. So what is at the top of the mind of Cooperative Bank, and even for you, all the investments in your business? The question we're all asking ourselves is, are we going to lose money? And so we need to make it our business to see how we can assure the different stakeholders by communicating or writing communications to them that calm their fears, that ease their anxieties. Management, how are we going to are we going to continue to run the business? We did our strategic plans last year. We were all set at the beginning of this year for takeoff, and then suddenly COVID came. So how will we continue to run this business? And that's why we are borrowing the insights from Bruce Lee. He says, you know what? You have to bend in the direction of the wind. Management is charged with the responsibility of making decisions which will guide the rest of the employees on what they're supposed to do. Employees, am I going to get paid? That's the $1 million question for your staff. Am I going to be safe for your customers? The question at the top of their mind is, am I going to get what I need Whenever your customers need something, they come to you. But now the question is, will we be able to get, with all these changes that are happening the world over? What about suppliers? Will you still continue to buy from us? You see, the reality is that because of the shift in the business environment, we're also shifting. We're also identifying different people to do business with and so on. So are you still going to continue to buy from us? Are we going to be paid? Are we going to be safe as we deliver these goods, as we exchange, these goods and so on? So these questions, local community and so on, this is just the second tip that I'm giving you. You need to make sure that you streamline communications where there's an issue. And that's why, in fact, part of communication is asking you questions. And you go to the chat box and you tell us, this is what we want. We are listening to you with a big ear so that we can give you solutions that are fit for you. My third and last tip is the importance of embracing digital transformation. Digital transformation, I know previously we were saying, maybe analog or something. We have to cross over, embrace digital transformation. I picked out a statement with from my interactions with Cooperative Bank, and somebody said that as long as you can price your product or your service, it doesn't matter whether it's a product, whether it's a service, you can sell it digitally. And maybe the question for you, you see, clearing and forwarding is a very specialized business. Import is import. But I want you to open your eyes to see what's going on globally. These statistics, as we have them, we took them in April, and these are the authoritative figures that we have. And I know the figures are conservative and they have gone up by now, but we can learn something about these numbers that will change our businesses going forward. When you look at that slide, it shows you a total population of 7.8 billion the world over. And out of that 7.8 billion, more than 50% of these people are living in cities. That's the first statistics. The second statistic is about the unique mobile phone users. In fact, here in Kenya, you don't have anywhere you tapale, sokoni, nini, kwa matatu, everywhere. Everybody is using a smartphone. And the numbers indicate to us that globally we're looking at over 5 billion people, 66% penetration. Why am I telling you this? Because if we're going to embrace digital transformation, I know you're very keen on hearing what solutions Cooperative Bank of Kenya is going to give you so that you can push your business forward. The thing is that you need to expand your marketplace, and there's opportunity for us to do that by going online. Internet users, 4.5% billion, almost 60, in fact, I believe more than 60% penetration, people who use phones, smartphones, in one way or another to ask Professor Google a question or something. And you know what? There are people who get into the net looking for a clearing and forwarding agent. My question or challenge to you is, are they going to find you? If I wanted to import some goods, where do you think I'll go? I'll not rely on networks. I'll not call Dorcas and ask her, Dorcas, do you know? Yes, I could. But the kind of world space or playing field that we have at the moment is that before somebody thinks of calling Dorcas to ask her, please forward me, recommend somebody to me, they will go into the internet. So the challenge for us is, can you be found there? Social media, active social media users, 3.8, almost 4 billion people. And I think we've seen this. I mean, we talk about, addictions to the internet and so on. When somebody wakes up in the morning, what's the first thing they do? They pick up their phone and they look for one thing or another. The question is, are they going to see you and the products that, the services that you're offering? This slide here just shows that shopping trends, people are now buying online. And I believe this is of interest to you. You can see that there are red bars in all the sections. Why? Because whatever it is that you are assisting to bring in, there is demand online. Remember, online. So there's a new a space for us to get involved. My challenge to you when you think about digital transformation is, number one, you need to move your business online. We have seen even construction, people are moving their businesses online. And the question is, why not you? So I think I would encourage you, look for opportunities to sell, to market your organization on the internet. I have seen amazing things, even just in WhatsApp groups, of people saying, look, we're importing, we're bringing in this, and they show us the pictures and so on, and people are buying and people are making, money and so on. Why not you? When somebody needs to make a decision, if they can see you, then the chances of them doing business with you or buying from you are increased. But if we can't see you, you're not visible, we can't see you. So when we're making financial decisions to buy and so on, we can't find you. So these are just some tips. I know there's a process of, trying to get your shipment from China, from Japan, from Dubai, and so on. And there's a whole process. You people are in the support chain, in the value chain, trying to make that possible in one way or another, clearance, customs, and so on. But at the end of the day, you know what? If your customers are not able to push their products, do you think they will engage? Do you think they will buy more? Do you think they will engage you? So it's a ripple cycle for all of us. So those are the tips that I wanted to share with you. And I want to stop there. And I want to hand over the meeting back to Dorcas, who will tell us more about the products. I did hear that the questions are coming in. We are capturing those questions, and we are going to answer not some, but all of them at the tail end of this presentation. Without further ado, Dorcas, back to you.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you so very much, Sarah. That was really exciting and I mean, really excellent presentation, just to take through our customers some of the things. And I really like the presentation around going digital. I like the presentation around opening our eyes and looking and seeing the very many opportunities that are out there. And I believe, with a great partnership, of course, we will be able to see such opportunities. Yes, as Cooperative Bank, then what is our commitment? Even as we open our eyes, we have had a couple of questions that are coming through and saying, yes, opportunities are there, but most people are feeling they do not have the necessary capital, they do not have the necessary facilitation. So I think it's to ask ourselves as Cooperative Bank, what do we have to offer? And I want to recognize Moses Getao, who I did not recognize earlier. I can see my other team members like Margaret Murage, and we are all here to support and say there are a couple of things a Cooperative Bank is putting in place to ensure that we are indeed supporting our customers and we are indeed working with them, so that then as they get the opportunities, we support them with the necessary tools and with the necessary financing to be able to meet their obligations. Therefore, as a Cooperative Bank, what is our commitment? Our commitment, and we have all been seeing, and it has been all around us. For those of us who have been our customers, we have continued to offer additional financing so that we can be able to boost their stock levels or their business, and for them to be able to meet their obligations. The other thing we have very well done as Cooperative Bank is to ask ourselves, our customers are struggling during this season. How can we restructure? How can we give them a relief so that we restructure their facilities and give them a time to be able to go through this season? So we are giving holidays, loan holidays, to ensure that then as business comes up, then we have given you an opportunity to be able to build business afresh. And of course, that one, what is required for those businesses that are feeling they're struggling is you request or you go to your branch so that you can talk to your branch manager or your relationship manager, and out of that they can give you the correct, the correct structure. The other thing we also are doing is having dedicated relationship managers for our MSME customers to ensure that we are supporting them in all the areas, whether it is the area of borrowing, whether it is in the area of even in the area of trying to show them some of the new things that the bank is doing. And as you have heard Sarah put it very well, going digital, there are new ways of making payment or even receiving payment. So your relationship manager will be able to give you consultancy around that. The issues around where you can get in through our online portal, where we post all the trainings and all the communication that is necessary for you. And I will, if you allow me, I will just request Moses, who has joined us, to just take us through some of the things that we are expecting, especially for our MSMEs, before I can take us through the areas of trade finance or the areas of support for importers and even support for our clearing and shipping agents. So Moses, if you're on the call, maybe kindly I give you a minute or two to just talk on the commitment we are giving our customers. Moses? Okay. Looks like Moses is not with us, but we can continue. Of course, webinars is the other item that we are really working to ensure that we are training our customers, and this is one of them. As Sarah put, we have had a couple of them, and I am sure they have been very, very educative. In terms of CSR, for most of us, we contributed 100 million in cash, which we gave to the Ministry of Health to help in especially facilitating buying of protective kits, that is the PPEs, and of course ventilators, as the country gets to handle the situation as it were. Sarah, we can go to the next. Thank you very much. Moses, have you come back? Looks like, yes, Moses. Sorry, thank you, Moses. Just requesting you to give us a word or two around our commitment, especially on our MSME access to finance.
Thank you, Dorcas, and good. Is it afternoon? Good morning, my customers, MSME customers, participants for this CoBank and IFC webinar. Good morning. Now, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dorcas. I was listening in, and I think in terms of the commitments, Dorcas has taken us through the commitments that the bank has offered for our customers, especially at this time of COVID, and more so the issues of funding, relationship management, and the information. I think she has talked about that. But there is always an entry point in every banking relationship, which perhaps is more important than now, and I take us through ourselves. The entry point in terms of this relationship for those who are not banking with us is how then do you access financing as an MSME? The entry point is that you need to have what we call an MSME package account, and this is packaged into three packages. Number one, we have those who are micro enterprises, those who are sort of starting up, coming up, and with an annual turnover of about 10 million. For those kind of customers, we do have an entry point which is called a bronze package. For the next category, who are a bit established, and we categorize them as small enterprises. We have with a turnover of between 10 million and annual turnover between 10 million and 100 million. We have the silver package, and the next category is the slightly larger MSME, what we call the medium enterprises, with the turnovers of 100 million to 500 million. And for this kind of customer, we have a gold package. All those three packages are current accounts. And just to maybe unpack what comes with each package is to say each and every MSME customer will have basic needs for financing. The first need for financing is working capital. The day-to-day running of your business. This comes in to say, I want to purchase stock. I want to buy raw materials if I'm a manufacturer. I want to do expansion, maybe into the factory, into the hospital if in a hospital. I want to pay my suppliers so that they keep supplying to me. I think that's what we call the normal working capital requirements for an MSME. I want to pay salaries. Those are the normal daily working capital requirements. The second need is when you have investment capital. And I think I'll also share what investment capital is. When you are buying an asset. You want a motor vehicle, you want a property, you want a house, maybe for business, commercial, or even your residential house. That is what we call investment capital. So those will be the two basic needs that you'll be meeting. With these three packages, we qualify from Cooperative Bank. You qualify for those two needs that we are talking of: the working capital needs, the day-to-day working capital needs, and the investment capital needs. That is when you want to buy a motor vehicle, a machinery, some equipment, some houses, or what have you. So under bronze package on working capital, which is a daily need, it goes with a secured limit. A limit that you don't ask for any security, up to 600,000. And the silver package, which we talked of, the small enterprises, it goes with an unsecured limit of up to 6 million. And the gold package, it goes with an unsecured limit of up to 10 million. Of course, this is subject to qualification because you have to meet the criteria. The packages also come with bundled solutions. And I said all of them are current accounts. So each of those packages has a checkbook. So in case you have to pay your suppliers, you can use a checkbook. Each of those packages comes with M correction. Each of those packages comes with M correction that helps you in terms of payment and correction for your funds. Each of those packages comes with M Corp Cash. Each of those packages comes with Corp Online. That is the internet banking from Cooperative Bank. When you go to merchant banking, the POS, each of those packages comes with merchant banking. And I think a critical one, which is a mode of payment now, an acceptable mode of payment, is Lipa na M-Pesa. Each of those, when you are on each of those packages, you are able to terminate your receipts on Lipa na M-Pesa directly into your core bank, real time, into a core bank account. So you can directly, immediately terminate all receipts, all payments that you are getting through Lipa na M-Pesa into your core bank account, and maybe move payments from there. And then Corp Cash would help you now also move in terms of in and out of account. So it's facilitated with those payment and correction solutions, just to help you, number one, aggregate all your payments, aggregate all the corrections that you are making from your business into your account. But the differentiator now is the unsecured limit of 6 million and 10 million, as I talked of, or as I alluded to earlier. The other thing is that all these three packages have an insurance, free directors insurance cover. And I think it's important to mention this because this is fully paid for by the bank. If you're in any of those packages, if you're in an active bronze package, you have 100 million cover, fully paid by the bank. If you're in silver package, you have a director's personal accident cover of up to 500,000. And on gold package, you have a director's cover of up to 1 million Kenya shillings. I think that is the entry point. So if you have to go then to the next in terms of the relationship, the borrowing, the entry point is the package accounts. I think I would want to end there, Dorcas, so that I give you the opportunity now to cover the trade finance solutions that come with those packages. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Moses. Really excellent and very well put. Yes, we continue to see the support that we are giving our customers. So we go quickly through the trade finance solutions, Sarah. So yes, as we had, most of us were worried about some of the things the bank is doing, especially in ensuring that we bring them back to business. Of course, there are those who are already have already been in business and they are continuing. Then we are asking ourselves, how can we enhance? How can we facilitate you to even expand your businesses? And of course, there are those of us who would want to even penetrate new markets. How can we enable you penetrate or expand even beyond the boundaries of our country? There are people who would want to penetrate to Ethiopia. There are people who would want to penetrate to Tanzania. There are people who would even want to penetrate to Congo. How is the bank going to facilitate them? So when it comes to trade finance solutions, as Moses has well put it, is a way of facilitating trade. So as a bank, we want to facilitate you trade more. We want to facilitate you either increase your stocks. We want to facilitate you be able to bring in that that consignment from whichever part of the globe. It could be China, it could be UK, it could be South Africa. We have solutions that will facilitate you do that. The other area that we facilitate also is in the area of people who are already doing exports. People want to export to Tanzania, people want to export to Rwanda, people want to export to China, people want to export their fresh produce or even flowers to the Netherlands. Again, we come in there as a bank, all that. And just to start us off, some of the trade finance solutions we use are what we call letters of credit. Letters of credit, of course, is an instrument that guarantees you to your suppliers or even to whoever you are importing from. And what we do as a bank, we get into your shoes and give our commitment that we are going to make payment on your behalf. And out of that, then we are able to facilitate for you to be able to get whatever goods you want to get or whatever supplies you want to get without necessarily having to pay cash in advance. Because again, remember, in these times, when you do not know the person on the other end, we want to mitigate you against the risk of loss. We want to mitigate you against the risk that even whatever you are bringing in could come and maybe it's faulty or it doesn't meet the required specifications or in terms of quantity and even in terms of quality. So a letter of credit will give you that opportunity to be able to bring in a consignment or goods that meets all those kind of parameters. We also have other solutions like bank guarantees. Again, when we're talking about bank guarantees, we're talking about guarantees that will facilitate you in the various areas, whether you're doing bidding, for example, for people who are already suppliers. I know in this forum, we have people who have been doing clearing and forwarding for the government. And every beginning of the year, you have to tender. We also have suppliers here who import goods and of course supply to the government, but always the entry point is bidding or tendering for that business. We have a very a good package for such like customers, because what we do is that we allow you bid bonds of up to 5 million, which are really unsecured. And again, depending on the relationship we have with you or business that we have with you, just like Moses put there in earlier, if you are in one of those packages and you can qualify for even up to 10 million, it's something that we can have a discussion and see how we can be able to extend even the bank guarantees to you. The other kind of guarantee, again, is what we call a credit guarantee. This is for the people who are supplying to maybe different markets, and they want a guarantee from a manufacturer would like a guarantee from them so that they can be extended, they can extend credit, goods on credit. And here again, we have people, of course, who are either in oil industry, people who are wholesalers, people who are doing goods in bulk. And because of that, then for the manufacturer to extend the credit to you, they want a bank guarantee. And we come in there and we are able to give you a guarantee that fits your needs. The other kind of type of guarantee that we will see in this area of supply is what we call, in this area of either whether you're in you're a clearing agent or you're in imports, is a guarantee we call a performance guarantee. For those of us who have worked with the government will want to be sure that, yes, you will perform. Even when they are contracting you to do the clearing and forwarding, they will want to be sure that you can perform. Again, here we give you a performance guarantee, which again, we put ourselves in your shoes and confirm to the government that indeed you are going to perform. Finally, we have what we call documentary collections. This is for the people who are in imports and you have built a relationship with especially some of your suppliers on the other side. So what they do is that they will send you documents, and once they send you documents, the documents come to our bank. We hold those documents until when you can make the payment, or we hold that those documents until the time when you want to make clearing of those goods. And because they normally have conditions as how we shall release them, what we normally do is that we will have a discussion with you, whether you are able to pay now, we release against your payment. In case you're not able to pay today and you still want to clear your goods, we can extend a facility to you, what we call a post-import finance facility, which goes for between 30 to 90 days. And this enables you to clear your goods from the port. Once you have cleared your goods, you are able to deliver them, or you are able to also sell them. And by the time you're getting to the 90 days, you have already either been paid, and therefore the bank gives you that opportunity to be able to get goods, sell them until when you can be able to get the payment and make the payment. So we give a relief using a facility we call a post-import finance. Again, at the time of payment, remember some of the importations you will be doing, you will require to pay using a foreign currency that is designated for that country. If, for example, you are importing from Europe, you'll be required to get some euros. If you are paying a supplier in US, you will get US dollars, or you require US dollars. If you're doing China, you will again require some Chinese yuan. Again, here we normally offer very competitive pricing to ensure that, yes, you can be able to meet your obligation and you can be able to pay using whatever currency that you have to pay. Then I go to some of the questions that you asked around how can the bank facilitate, or how are we collaborating with KRA so that we can ensure that, yes, those goods have come, their duty have been paid. So in this case, what we normally do is that yes, once you get to know you're doing an importation and you know you have a gap in terms of you do not have money to settle your KRA charges at that point, what we normally do is we offer what we call an import duty finance. What will this help you with? It will support you to settle those duties and even the clearing charges, and get your goods, either deliver them to wherever you're supplying or even sell them. We give a period of between, again, 30 to 90 days, depending on your payment or on the cycle of you being able to convert the goods to cash. And out of that, then you're able to settle once you get once you get your payment from wherever you are, from wherever, for example, you're supplying. The other important bit is the stock financing. In stock financing, I think, again, it could either be local or it could be goods that are coming in, very pretty much a substitute of what we do in LCs. And here again, we will facilitate you get the stocks either through supply chain or distributor finance solutions to ensure that you're well stocked at any one point. I know as we get towards the season of Christmas, the demand is high and you want to keep your stock levels at the right position. Again, the solution will support you and it helps you match your payments and whatever payments that come through. So it doesn't give you, as opposed to an OD or an overdraft facility where you're not able to match whatever you're selling and whatever facilities you're getting from the bank. But either way, and depending again on the business needs, we can be able to give either an OD or a stock financing facility. Finally, somebody asked a question around, yes, they have that motor vehicle or they have that equipment they want to import from out there. How can we facilitate them? Again, I did say there is a solution we call an LC. Once that equipment has come in and you're not able to pay for it immediately, we can convert it to an asset finance. Why do we do this? Because we do realize that, yes, when you're buying a CapEx item or a capital item, you may not be able to convert it to cash immediately. Maybe it's to use as to manufacture or to process. So you will need a bit of time between one year to 3 years to be able to get back the return. So again, we can be able to structure. We start with a letter of credit. Then once you get the equipment, we can convert it to an asset finance. It's a discussion we can have and see how can we support. Finally, when goods are in transit, they do require insurance. And this we call marine insurance. Again, as my colleague Moses said, it is an area that we would want to support you with, so that we give you a marine insurance to be able to cover your goods in transit in case of any damage, in case of any breakage, in case they are even stolen. Then you are covered and you can always be compensated at any one time. So what other solutions do we offer? Of course, Sarah did mention that we have to ask ourselves, how can we go digital? There are those of us who are in FMCG. There are those of us who would want to be paid by their customers, either through card and online. Again, here we offer solutions around e-commerce, which support you so that then your customers can order goods online and they can also be able to pay you online. Salary processing, I'm sure for most of us who are already in business, you have employees, and again, you can be able to process salaries using our robust platforms, whether it is COP Online, to be able to process payment for KRA, process payment for salaries. And the beauty of this is that you are able to keep record of whatever payment you make. And even at any future date, you can always go back and produce a receipt without necessarily having to file most of these receipts in a folder that may get lost or may get damaged over time. But the beauty of this, you can be able to store all those payments somewhere where you can even get to see them at a later stage. At this point, I don't know, Diana, if we have any questions that I have not addressed, and if we can then put it up for a Q&A. But before I can put it up for Q&A, of course, somebody will ask, as we offer these kind of solutions, what are the requirements? Some of the requirements, of course, are we need to do the necessary KYC. So you fill in our application forms, which are pretty simple to fill. And of course, our teams on the ground are always very ready to support you in filling out these forms. Secondly, it's important to realize that there's collateral security that is required. And what we do in such cases, because we realize collateral is a big challenge, we have partnered with various organizations to ensure that we can be able to cover you up to a certain level where you go beyond your MSME package. Out of that, we can then look at other solutions that will support you so that you have sufficient collateral. So in such cases, then you will only pay 50% of the collateral. You give us 50% of your collateral. It could be land, it could be cash, it could be chattels or whatever collateral that is agreeable to the bank. And then the other 50%, we are able to cover using insurance cover. At that point, I would maybe request we go to question and answer so that it can be more engaging and we can be able to address some of the things that you feel we need to address. Over to you, Diana, for Q&A.
Thank you very much, Dorcas. I'll start with the questions and feedback coming through WebEx, and then move on to YouTube. So we have feedback from Eden Abdi Serar, and he says that they have a challenge with their dollar account where it's not responsive to SMS alert to confirm transaction. And this has been a challenge because they have to go to the bank to confirm any transaction on the dollar account. He says this is unlike in their shilling account where it works well, but for dollar, it doesn't seem to be working. So I would request that probably Peter Ndumia takes a note of this and they can address this with Eden Abdi Serar. And then we have some of the questions that have been posed in the chat box have already been answered as we went through the presentation. So I'll probably pick the areas where we have specific questions coming from the participants that have not been addressed by Dorcas as she went through the presentation, and also by Moses as we went through the presentation. So we have Collins Akelo, and then Collins says, with the mention of relationship managers, could they please shortlist more organizations to be pre-qualified for LPO financing? For instance, now I have 2 LPOs that need financing and my good bank, Coop Bank, has nothing to offer me at all. All I am told is to borrow against my chattels, which I have hardly enough since I just finished college last year, but at least I have more than 4 good clients who import frequently. Kindly assist. So probably we could respond to that before. Sorry, there's one more from WebEx where the question is, can you convert LC to stock financing? As for the case of asset finance, and I think you had already responded to this, but if you want to add additional comments, you're free to do so. And then Naftali Ogana is also asking, you have talked about flexible security. How flexible is it for the case of 500,000 credit facilities? For my case, I have none as listed. Over to you, Dorcas.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Diana. And thank you, Aiden. Sorry, I didn't pick the other names. In terms of some of what we are doing, especially on the LPO financing, allow me to say that, yes, this is an area that we already started supporting our customers. And one of the things that we do, especially looking at your trading history, looking at when you started, supplying, and looking at who your suppliers are, we are able to structure something around that facilitates you to deliver, as well as either make a commitment to your supplier. That way we are able to guard you against very high interest rates. So we could give what we call a guarantee or a commitment to your supplier. They supply, and then we make payment once they make the payment come. So again, it's an issue of structuring, and we can. I request that maybe we can pick your number so that we can be able to have a discussion and see how we can support you on that. It's LPO financing is something we do. Number two, somebody asked a question around LC, a conversion of LC to stock. I did say that when you, for example, importing goods, sometimes you may realize that, yes, you have issued an LC, but by the time the goods come, you do not have money because you need to convert those goods into cash. So what we normally do is that, yes, we agree on what I have said, a post-import finance, where we are able to extend a further facility of up to 90 days to you. And again, it depends on what market you're in. It is between 30 to 90 days. So we convert an LC into stock financing. And finally, in terms of, I didn't mention something around KRA customs bonds. That is something that we normally do. We give KRA customs bonds, which are normally valid for between 1 year to 3 years. And again, this is a discussion that we can be able to take up with individuals because again, some of them will require certain structuring. Flexibility in our securities, yes, that I said it is there, and that is why we have given the various structures. There's one where we only take 50% of your security. There's another one where we are willing to look at what chattels you have, and then of course there's land and property. So I hope that addresses. And in case of a question, maybe Diana, you can always pick the number, and I will also be able to shoot my number at this point so that then we can be able to have a further engagement thereafter.
Maybe Dorcas, if I may chip in briefly also, in terms of, there's a gentleman who talked about the DORA account in terms of SMS. I think we've picked that and we'll be engaging him off. Let me also talk about these kind of customers here. The kind of customers that you're talking to today have a lot of needs for foreign currency. And I think, let me say, we do have foreign currency accounts for the major currencies. So further to the Kenya shillings account, you can operate the foreign currency account. And number two is that do exchange both into the account and maybe cash on conversion of currencies, and I think that is also available into the bank, and also the issue of transfers, foreign currency transfers. If you have to make any SWIFT transfers, we do that for you as a customer. So just to mention that those services are also available to you as our customers in the bank. I think the issue of security, let me say security in any banking relationship, Security comes in second. The primary thing is the one of us, the customer, the bankings that you bring into the bank, and that determines now the qualification. So security comes in second, as secondary, and I know Dorcas has covered the issues of securities. So for any relationship, I think security comes in secondary. Number 3 is to say that the banker-customer relationship, and I think I know Sarah may have said it, banker-customer relationship is more or less like doctor-patient relationship. And that's why for us as a bank, we have mapped every customer with a relationship manager that you need to tell, or to maybe let that person, let your branch manager, let your relationship manager know your business in and out. And until they understand your business, those are the people, and until they understand your business, they may not be able to maybe prescribe the appropriate solution for you. Just like a doctor who may not understand who may not pick out your diagnosis, they may not be able to give you the right prescription. So it's important as a customer, you walk the journey with your banker, with your relationship manager, with your branch manager, so that they're able to present your request based on the facts of the business. So I would really advocate for that kind of relationship between you as an MSME with your customer, just to ensure that they are able to walk through with you. Finally, as number 4, what is a call to action? As we engage on this, I know we'll be coming to those to maybe a few questions that Diana you pick. But what is a call to action? And as we leave this webinar, what are we saying as a bank? And I think what I'm asking is, if you do not have an MSME package account, please visit your branch and open an MSME, or you have an MSME package account, or you'll be able to get appropriate advice from the branch manager or from the relationship manager. So please ensure you have that visibility, and engage your branch manager and your relationship manager. Number 2, as you onboard on that package account, ensure you also register on the payment solutions and transaction solutions. What do these do for you? Number 1, they'll help you do corrections in terms of the payment that you'll be receiving from customers. I think you have moved more electronic. Now banks will tell you over 90% of the transactions are being done on alternative channels. So the corrections that need to come may not be cash. So ensure if it's Lipa na M-Pesa, you have been able to register and terminate it to your package account. If with them correction, you have registered, so you are able to correct. If it's a POS, the bank will provide for you that POS for free. So ensure you register and on those payment and transaction solutions. I think then number 3 is to say, if you have those short-term needs that Dorcas have covered, I think I may have also talked about them, ensure you also discuss those needs with your branch manager and the relationship manager. So that will be critical for you to say, what do I need? And Dorcas mentioned the issue of to say, this is the season that most of us are importing. This is the season that most of us are stocking. Is there a need that the bank can finance you? Please raise that to the branch manager, your relationship manager. They should be able to advise you on the funding. And I think last is to say, the session we have run is just to what? That the engagement that you have been having may not have really covered all the bank solutions. So we are requesting that you engage your branch manager for more information on financing solutions, especially for the importers and the exporters. So we have several solutions. We may not have captured everything. We may not have been able to articulate everything as it is. So let's have that engagement between the branch manager, yourself, the branch manager, and also the relationship manager, so that they can advise you on the most appropriate solutions. Are there any other questions that we could pick on, Diana? I think that was my call to action.
Yes, Moses, and thank you very much. If I could quickly go to YouTube, we have several questions which I will read out for you and Dorcas to address. And Irene Odhiambo is asking, do you link with KRA Customs to facilitate clearing and payment of taxes? And then we have Joe Mooley, I believe your question on whether Coopbank gives LPO financing has been answered. And then we have a question from Joe Mooley. Joe Mooley is asking, what alternatives do you have for agricultural input service providers at import of product or upon selling locally to large end users? LPO financing, that question mark. And then he also goes on to say alternative financing at import could be we get financing and surety/guarantee be the agricultural input goods being imported. And then we have Julius Kabari, who says that any purchase below USD, Euro, or GBP, that is British pounds 1,000, is so exorbitant, hurting the small margins that as SME we expect. Can this be reviewed? And then we also have Felix Murray, who's asking, could the bank be able to design a product for importers whereby you finance the invoice value and KRA duty with one bullet payment for interest and principal loan in an agreed period of time? And then if I can take maybe 2 or 3 more, Elijah Mutunga is asking, if I need to import, do you have a panel of agents you can refer me to assure that I do not fall on the wrong agent's hands? And then Dorcas Njenga, I believe you've been answered through the presentation where you're saying our current challenge is delayed payment by government institutions, that is hospitals and universities. How can the bank help in terms of products like advance payment guarantees? And I believe Dorcas covered that in the presentation. And maybe I would just add that for the participants who joined us late, CoopBank will be sharing the presentation with all the participants. So you don't need to worry about missing the previous sessions. You'll be able to go through the presentation, and we'll share the contacts of the bank, the branch managers. You'll be able to get in touch with them to get further insights if need be. And I think Agnes, maybe the last question from Agnes Mugoya. Hello, I have a current secured loan with Cooperative Bank. I wish to acquire further unsecured finance under the silver package. What are the requirements? Agnes, your question is noted, and I will request the team to get in touch with you directly. Wilson Travels is asking, if I want to access your tailor-made solutions, do I walk into any CoopBank branch, or you can share contacts, or which bank or which branch are you located in? I think Moses had already touched on this. You can walk into any branch and speak to the branch manager, but also alternatively, we will be sharing the contacts of the team on this call. Thank you very much. That's it from YouTube. Over to you, Moses and or Dorcas, to address the questions.
Thank you so very much, Diana. I will go first, and then Moses will take some of the areas that maybe he may want to enhance. In terms of linking up with KRA or collaborating with KRA, as I said, what we normally do is once you already know what your duties are like, once you have gotten the manifest, what we do is that you get in touch with us, and we can be able to process payments to KRA. However, let me put it this way. Remember, all this time your goods are already at the port. So we wouldn't want a situation where there is a delay because of the the processing of the facility. So we normally say the moment you realize you want to do importation, it's important you have a discussion with your relationship manager and tell them quite in advance that yes, as I'm doing this importation, I do foresee a situation where I may not be having money to pay for either the duty import or the taxes that need to be paid for. So at that point, when we are processing for you the facility, we process it well in advance. And once the goods get here, it becomes very easy for us to make the payment to KRA. So it's always good you come to us well in advance, before the goods arrive at the port, so that you do not incur any demurrage costs. Because people wait until the last minute, and by the time you are processing, it would take 1 or 2 days, which now you will already have started incurring some demurrage. So to avoid that, have a discussion with your relationship manager well in advance, even before you start the journey of importing, so that we can incorporate that in the initial application. Somebody did ask if we can be able to do a bullet, and that's what I'm talking about. Once you know you're doing an importation, you know this is the cost of goods at the point that these things are coming to KRA, because remember, you will be given an IDF well in advance, and they can be able to at least calculate and see this is the component that you will be paying to KRA in terms of import duty or taxes. We are able to incorporate all that in the initial application, and then you can pay it at a future date once an agreed date that we agree between us and yourself once you have already sold your goods. Then there was a question around, do we have a panel of agents? Yes, we do. And of course, in most cases, we will give that panel to you if you are already working, or rather you're doing facilities with us. So we will be saying these are the agents that we normally use as a bank, or we use for our customers, and we will share it with you. Again, your relationship manager will be able to advise you on that. Finally, there was a question around agriculture finance for inputs. There are 2 levels that I look at there. If you're importing the inputs, of course, there is the facility for either LCs. Now, if you're doing or you're buying your inputs from your local agrovets, or you're buying them from an agrovet where we have a relationship, there are various facilities we will use, just like Moses said. There is the import of stock financing, which we can give you, or the farm inputs, which again you can be able to access. And this also just once you have a discussion with our experts on the ground, that's the relationship managers or the branch manager, they will be able to give you a breakdown on what it is. So I'm putting it very broadly because I do not have the specifics, but with the specifics, the relationship manager will be able to give you a better, answer in terms of, is it an LC you need? Is it an LPO you need? Or is it an input, a farm input facility you need, or is it stock financing that you need? So since you're able to have that discussion with the branch manager, once you visit them, they will now be able to break it down for you, and it will be much, much easier for us to process. I don't know if anything I missed out on, Moses. I think I've addressed the questions. Yeah.
Maybe just to add on to, there are 2 questions that, there are 2 maybe comments or requests from Agnes. Agnes talked of having a secured facility. Agnes, you already have a relationship. I would request you visit that relationship person, and they will be able to review your account and advise on the appropriate solution, because I heard you saying that you have a secured facility with us. I think that relationship manager, the branch manager, should be able to advise you on the appropriate solution. Wilson talked of where do you about the branch, and I think just as Diana said, any of the branches, and you be able to talk to a branch manager or the relationship manager. Any of our branches, the services are all across all our branches. We have 156 branches. Choose on the appropriate branch, the branch that is close to your business, or the branch that is close to yourself. That is where you'll be able to engage that person. And we have a branch manager and a relationship manager in every other branch. So feel free to visit any of those branches. We have also shared our contacts on the chat box, both for trade finance and for the relationship managers in head office and the business banking, in case you want to reach out to ourselves. I think that is it, Dorcas.
Thank you very much, Moses. I hope, Diana, we have covered all the questions.
Yes, you've pretty much covered all the questions. I will just look through YouTube quickly to make sure no further questions came through. Oh,
As you look-
maybe a comment from
Yes.
Julius Kabari. He says the reason we raise some of these issues here is because the RMs and branch managers are unable to give solutions. We believe in this forum, we are dealing with decision makers. And we also have Michael who says a good discussion. I have learned a lot from this live forum.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Diana, and thank you for those comments. Indeed, we take the feedback, and I am sure, as I said, what we have done, we have really empowered our teams on the ground. But as Moses has again said, of course, there's a merit in us sharing our contacts, and we have already shared our contacts. So that in case you feel you also want to get that extra support, then we are at, we are just a call away, and we can be able to address some of the questions that are coming across. So Diana, maybe as we share as we share this webcast, please also do share our contacts, so that then our customers can be able to have a second level in case they are not able to reach the first level. But from where I sit, I think we have also empowered our teams, but it doesn't hurt to get in touch with us, and we will always see what we can be able to offer in return. Is that all, Diana?
Yes, Dorcas, that is it from my end.
Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you so very much. I want to now maybe give this meeting to Moses so that he can give us the final remarks and the vote of thanks. Thank you so very much. It was a really great pleasure engaging on this forum.
Thank you, Dorcas. Let me take the opportunity to thank our customers for attending. I think creating time out of your busy schedule, we don't take it for granted. Let me thank the IFC team, Sarah and Diana, for organizing this. Thank you for coming through. I think we had more credit today. We had very good attendance. Let me thank Dorcas, our head of wholesale banking, for the way she has articulated the issues, and to our customers as we go to the festivity season. I think Dorcas has articulated to say that the bank is there to support you. Please feel free to engage us in terms of the support. And thank you so much for attending. My colleagues Peter and Nancy, thank you very much for hosting us. I think we've done a lot of the background there to just facilitate this discussion. And as I said earlier, we'll be posting these materials, the contents, the presentation, and even the video in terms of the discussion. We'll be posting it to our MSME portal. So feel free to visit the MSME portal. We have had a number of webinars, and all those materials are there. The presentations and the videos for the webinars. So feel free to continuously run through that portal, engage us also through that portal, so that we can also keep picking your feedback. Sarah, thank you. You've always come through in terms of the presentation. Thank you for that powerful presentation. And I think at this juncture, I would want to just declare the discussion as closed, and invite you for the next discussion. I know we have another exciting discussion coming up just before we close the year. We have two lined up before we close the year. We will be inviting you through the teams that invited you. Feel free to join us as we go into the next webinars. So thank you so much, team. So we could leave at pressure. I think the discussion is over for today. We could leave at pressure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you.